Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you a trick for linking to your own notes and documents on your Mac. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, one of the things that you may want to do on your Mac is link from note to note, or link from, say, a document or a calendar event or somewhere else to a note. And it seems like this should be some built-in functionality. If you're in Notes, you should be able to maybe select a bit of text like this and then create a link. And in fact, you can go and create a link that's under Edit and then Add Link or Command K, and then you could put a link destination. And here you could put a URL to a web page. But you can't link to another note. It seems like you should really be able to do this. It would make Notes much more dynamic. And in fact, you will be able to do this in macOS Sonoma. But if you want to do this now, there's a way to do it. And in fact, even in Sonoma, you'll be able to use this to link to notes from other things. Like, say, linking from a calendar event to a note, or maybe a document to a note, or even a note to a document. Let me show you how this trick works. So the first thing you want to do is you want to share this note. Now you may think, well, I don't want to share it. I don't want anybody else to have access to this. And that's fine. We're not going to allow anybody else to have access, just us. So I'm going to select this note called Another Note. And I'm going to click on the Share button here. I could also go to File and then Share, and it will actually take you to the same place. You can see the same menu comes up either way. And I want to switch to Collaborate. So if you're on Send Copy, switch to Collaborate. It should remember this for the next time. And we're not actually going to collaborate with anybody. We're just going to collaborate with ourselves, really. So I'm going to use the Invite with Link option. And then it's going to come up with this. And you have to invite somebody. So the trick is I'm just going to use my own Apple ID here like this. And I don't really need to do anything else here. And I'm going to click Copy Link. Now there are a bunch of options when I first did this. Like you can only have invited people access. Yeah, that's the default. You want that. And permissions can make changes, allow others to invite. Those don't matter because we're not inviting anybody else. So I didn't bother. I just left it at the default settings. Now I have in the clipboard a URL. I can use that URL as my link. So let me go back to this first note here. Select this text and do that Command K and then Command V to paste this link in. So you can see this link here. It goes to iCloud.com/notes. It's an iCloud link. So I'm going to click OK. And now if I click this link, look what happens. It goes to the other note. So I always have a link to this other note. Now this isn't anything special once we've got macOS Sonoma, because there's a way to do that inside of Notes in Sonoma without having to fake everything using a share. But this link can come in handy in a number of different ways. For instance, here in the Calendar app I could have a test event. And let's say this note pertains to that event. I can click here and under Add URL I could paste this same link in. And now when this event comes up and I want to access the note, I can click on that note right there and it takes me right to the note in the Notes app. So that's handy. And you could do this in other places as well. Say, for instance, in Contacts. Say in a document, for instance. So in Pages, for instance, I could have a document like this and I could set a link here. It's Command K here as well. And I could say link to a web page and put the link like that. And now when I use it in here, it'll take me to that note. So it works just about anywhere. The one place it won't work really well, though, is in Safari. Because when you're already in a web browser, if you try to use it there, it's going to take you to the web browser version of Notes. So that's probably not ideal. You want it to go to the Notes app. Now, you can do the same thing with documents. So the idea is exactly the same. I'm going to go to Share here and I'm going to make sure I have it set to Collaborate like before. I'm going to Invite with Link. I'm just going to invite myself like that and copy link. And keep in mind this document has to be stored in iCloud for this to work. It won't work with local documents. But if you're using iCloud Drive for all your documents, then it's already taken care of. So now in Notes here, I'm going to select some text. I'm going to use Command K again, paste this link in there. You can see it's linking to a Pages document there. And what you would hope is you would click that, it would open Pages and go right to that document. It doesn't quite work that well. If I click it here, it actually takes me to the document itself in the Finder. So now I have to double click it and now it would open up in Pages. It would be great if it opened it up in Pages by default, but actually this could be useful as well if you don't necessarily want to open up the document but maybe go to the folder that it's in or do something with that document itself, not necessarily open it up. So it's okay. And it's something you can use again here in Notes. You can do it in the Calendar app. You can do it in other apps. Any place where you can put a link. But of course if you were to do it in Safari, you'd end up with the same thing as the note. It's going to open up the version of Pages, the web version that will run in the browser, and it will bring up this document there, which isn't really ideal. Now this can actually work with any file as long as it's an iCloud drive. And you can see my Documents folder is an iCloud drive. I've got a PDF file here. So let me go and share that. And I can do the same thing here. Switch to Collaborate. I can then go to Invite with Link. I can just invite myself. Copy link. Now here in this note I can have a link to the PDF using Command K. Paste this in here and you see the link type is going to be iCloud Drive in this case. So now when I click on this, it actually opens up a new Finder window and takes me right to that document. I don't think this is the type of technique that you're going to use a lot, like have tons of notes linked to other notes, linked in the calendar, and tons of Pages documents linked to notes and all that. I think it's something that you might want to use occasionally when it's really important. When you know you've got this note filled with information ready for a meeting, you can link the event to the note, or when you know there's a Pages document that pertains to a certain note or calendar event or something else. It's a good technique to have up your sleeve when you really need it. And as I said, there's going to be a way in macOS Sonoma to link from note to note that's native to the Notes app and doesn't use a trick like this. And we'll be looking at that as we get closer to the launch of macOS Sonoma later this year. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.